On today's show, rumor has it that Kyrie Irving is recruiting LeBron James to join the Dallas Mavericks. Is it real? Do we believe it? Could it happen? Do we want it to happen? We'll talk about that and more in today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Join the Raccoon Squad, be an everydayer, subscribe or follow. Just search Locked On Mavericks wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section, if it was real, would you want Luka, Kyrie, and LeBron on the Mavericks at the same time? Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your account and your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Also, if you want to join in the conversation, support the show, get texts from us. I was texting all throughout this rumor today. Our subtext was blowing up. Subscribe to our subtext. You'll get actual text from us to your phone, and you can text us as well. Subscribe to our subtext. Click the link in the description below. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com, the over-the-moon man, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I want to give a shout-out to all the Mavs content creators out there. It's a good day.
Manna from heaven.
This is manna from heaven. Shout out to SEO. Shout out to everything, because now we can put LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka's names in every title of every piece of content.
Imagine a story where Luka Doncic is like the third or fourth most important party involved.
Listen, I have so many thoughts about this. As I look for a silver lining, I just got to tell myself, hey, LeBron equals more clicks, which equals more money, which equals more money. So that's what I got to tell myself right now.
LeBron James.
God, get that off your soundboard. Oh my God.
It's not even the end of it.
I got that notification today, and I was doing some stuff at work, and I'm like, what? Like, what is this a real thing? I thought somebody texted me like a fake.
Wait, no, you got to tell them you got it on your watch, which is funnier to me that you're outside with your group and like you got it on your watch, which is funnier to me. You like being outside, like enjoying the day, and all of a sudden you just like looking at your wrist really close, trying to read the small text.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this? And then I went and grabbed my phone. And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
So we will talk about the rumor. LeBron getting recruited by Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about what it means. What kind of leverage is it? We'll talk about if that trio actually works, and we'll get into that. But let's start here. The actual rumor from Sean Sharania. Sources: Kyrie Irving has reached out to Lakers star LeBron James in attempts to see if James would come to Dallas. Irving is a free agent this offseason. When you first heard this, what was your initial thought?
You know what my initial thought was?
Everybody wants to know. Half of our subtext texts today were like, what does Isaac think about this?
My initial thought was, well played, LeBron. Like, I've been on this the whole time. We've been texting about this, and I just like laugh. There's a chess match that's going on between LeBron and Pelinka of LeBron wants Kyrie in LA. The Lakers don't want Kyrie in LA right now. They don't want to pay that and sign up for that whole experience. So there's been this chess match that's been going on, and it started with them getting put out of the playoffs. And what happens? LeBron, man, I got to think about, what's my future look like? That's his first move. And I'm like joking with you about it. And I'm telling him, like, dude, how soon are we going to get the report that they're going to like commit to signing, to the young core, that they don't want to give up the young core? We got that report. Then there was the LeBron Instagram thing about, am I going to be here? Like the weird Instagram story, another little chess piece move. And what was the next counter? The Athletic story. Lakers are going to match Austin Reeves up to $100 million. They're doubling down on it. And then here's LeBron's next move. Here's the next chess piece move of, hey, I want to play with LeBron this bad. We're going to put it out there that Kyrie's trying to get me to come come to Dallas. If we can't play together in LA, then I'll entertain coming to Dallas. So that was my first reaction of well played, LeBron.
This is not going to happen. LeBron coming to the Mavericks, right? Like, there's just no way for this to happen. The Mavs don't have the things to give to the Lakers, right? And even if you, put the package together, because it just doesn't.
Here's. I'll actually push back just a little bit. I was saying I don't think you can roll anything out with LeBron. Like, LeBron is so powerful,
but it's not,
and clutch is so powerful. Like, I'm just saying, like, they could equal it out with money. They could equal it out with draft picks. Like,
it's the package that you put together with the best stuff is you put Reggie, Tim, Maxey, Josh Green, Jaden Hardy, the first round pick from this year, the 10th pick, and the 2027. That's all. That's everything the Mavericks have. It's you.
He's also 38.
That's what I'm saying. It won't. You can't make it happen if you give up all that stuff, but that's what you have to give up.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to throw out all logic when it comes to LeBron. Like, LeBron has power. Like, LeBron and clutch has power. I was texting somebody earlier today, and I was kind of joking with them about the same thing. And they're like, LeBron can make things happen. and that was the thing, the text. So it's like, I don't want to sit here and say there's no way it'll ever happen, because I don't know. And I wouldn't put anything past LeBron, because they actually do have the salaries to make it work. They do have a couple picks. And what is the value for a 38, 39-year-old LeBron James? I don't like. Would you do it if you were Dallas?
All that stuff I just said?
I mean, you know how I'm going to feel about this, but
no. Sure how would you feel about it? Because I think people want to know.
You don't do this. There you go. I just don't. I don't. Yeah, you got it. Anyway.
So if it could happen, let's say they do put that package together, and let's say they could. All right, let's make it a little bit more tenable and replace like Tim Hardaway with Davis, or something. Like, just make it, leave the Mavericks with some things instead of literally making, if you projected Kyrie's, max salary, LeBron's current salary, Luka's salary that's already set in stone. If you put all those together and you added it up, I put it in a spreadsheet today, $133.9 million. The salary cap is 134. Like, it can be done. But you get those three guys and you get nothing else. Like, everything else is either over the cap. I just talked to Eric Pincus yesterday about what the new CBA is going to look like and the second apron and all that stuff. And one of the things he said was, if you're going to go all in on something and you're going to all right, let's make one huge move, you maybe do it this year before the real penalties come in, and then you have to bail on it the next year so that you're not in the second apron 2 years in a row. Like that second luxury tax where it's $17 million above the tax. Like, that's maybe what you do. And so, okay, it could happen. Like, on paper, you could make it happen, but for you just wouldn't do it.
Here's the thing. Can it happen? Yes. Could LeBron force it to happen? Yes, because I think he is one of the few players in all of professional sports,
in the history of the league, that
can probably get majority of what he wants in the sense of, like, if he wanted to get traded and all the stuff, clutch included, all this stuff. Could it happen? Yes. Do I think it will happen? No. Nor does your dog.
My dog is out on this.
Do I want it to happen? No. And shocker here. And I get it. I know I'm probably in the minority of this. And, this isn't a shocker to anybody who, I know this is going to be really hard for people to do. And I'm going to laugh when I'm saying this. Take my personal bias out of this.
No, there's legitimately, I love you as a person, as a friend. There's no way you could take your personal bias out of this.
Okay, I'm not a LeBron fan. Shocker. But I also think, like, for what it would cost to, like, let me defend this here for a second. Besides, personally, I don't want this to happen. I can't root for LeBron, like, on my team. Like, it would be the worst case, like, fan supporting narrative about this. But also, it is like what you would have to give up for a 38-year-old LeBron who has been dealing with injuries the past year or so. Like, the only silver lining of it is like Luka loves him. And like, are you telling me it would guarantee Luka for another 10 years, which you can't make that promise now? Then cool. But like, just on asset stuff alone, I don't want to blow everything I have for a 39. He would be 39, next season, a 39-year-old LeBron. And I get it. I know what everybody's going to say. Look at the level he's played at. He's went to conference finals and all of that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't give up everything I have to form a big three with minimum contracts of LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka.
Listen, we've been talking about this
Please
entire.
don't clip that, because then I'm just going to get just obliterated. And I don't feel like dealing with online comments right now.
Listen, we've been talking about. Well, don't worry. Taylor Swift and Matt Healy broke up, so you won't have to worry about the online. The story has been overshadowed. We've been talking about the Mavs needing a bigger defensive wing that can play make. Like, hey, maybe they could get Draymond Green. Oh, maybe they could just get LeBron James instead. Coming up, let's talk about this is a leverage play, because I fully 100% believe that it is, because I don't think that this is actually anything close to realistic unless something LeBron happens. So let's talk about who's it a leverage play for. Talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Game Time. Game Time is the app that helps you get to all of the events that you want to go to. Right now, tons of Rangers tickets. The Rangers are good.
Dude, balling.
They're good all of a sudden. Their offense is really good. I've heard things like they're the best offense in the league. I don't know anything about baseball, but that stadium is air conditioned now, and I'm very excited to go back at some point this offseason. So Mavs offseason, like Rangers actual season. You can go check it out on Game Time. You can download the app. You can use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off a ticket. So if you, going to go with some friends, $20 off all your tickets. You can get them to pay you, and then maybe you make some money off of this. They also have Beyonce tickets at AT&T Stadium.
Hey.
Coming up. Weezer is coming to the Pavilion. Big Three basketball in July 1st at the American Airlines Center. What else? What else we got? A whole bunch of stuff. Go check it out. Again, it's Game Time. Go download the Game Time app. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Again, Game Time, promo code LOCKEDONNBA. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, this emergency pod. We appreciate each and every one of you. Join the Raccoon Squad. Be an everydayer. Listen to the show every day. We're 5 days a week all throughout the offseason and the regular season, and then weekends as well when they have games. Support us by subscribing to our subtext. Guys, let's get into this. All right, Isaac. This is a leverage play to me. As soon as this came out, it's a Kyrie reached out to LeBron James. That's what the initial report was from Shams, that, hey, he reached out to see if he would come there. To me, it's either Kyrie wants to go to LA and is like, hey, Lakers, if you don't get me there, hey, girl, hey, you don't get me to LA and bring me, then all of a sudden, what if I bring LeBron to me instead? That's what I want. I want to be teamed up with LeBron again. I want to be teamed up with the star again. I saw some people saying, wow, this means that Kyrie is re-signed with the Mavericks automatically. He's already recruiting people. No. I don't buy that for 1 second. Like maybe it does say that he could be okay in Dallas, that he's not completely against the idea, that he's not completely 100% out already. I could believe that. I'm not going to buy into, well, he's already recruiting. Like he's already recruiting to Dallas. He's sold. He's bought into Jason Kidd and all this and blah, blah, blah. No, I can't believe that for 1 second of this. It's a leverage play. But who is it a leverage play for? I think it's a LeBron clutch leverage play or a Kyrie going to LA leverage play.
Yeah, I think you can say both here, right? Like,
yeah,
I think it's one.
Stuff can be both things.
I do think it's LeBron and clutch. I think they're trying to force the Lakers' hands of, hey, we want to do this thing. I also do think it's a Kyrie thing. I mean, what if, let's say Kyrie wants, he's telling Dallas, hey, I want the full max you can give me, and Dallas is like, dude, like. We'll do the 3. We'll do the 3+1. And he's like, no, like what was some of the reports we heard about Brooklyn about him wanting the guarantees? What if Dallas is, I don't know what those negotiations are looking like, but if Kyrie's sitting there saying, hey, like what this tells me today also is Kyrie wants to play with LeBron. Like, yeah, I mean, if he is reaching out to LeBron about trying to see if he will come to Dallas, then he wants to play with LeBron. So that is one of the takeaways from today. I think if you want to look at like a positive takeaway from Dallas's side is, man, we haven't had somebody like with this much, not saying that it's happening or any of that, but like it's different seeing Dallas's name in a tweet like that of like, man, this star player is reaching out to this star player about coming to Dallas or something like that. But yeah, that it wasn't all, I checked my phone during the ad break there, and somebody's like, one, shout out to everybody who's reaching out to me today just to
see how you are.
Yeah, just to see how I was doing. But, somebody said, hey, we're on cloud 9 right now. Don't be negative and all that. I'm like, okay, like, shocker, I'm probably not going to be about this, but I don't think it's all about like, hey, this is coming from a guy that's not the biggest LeBron fan either. I think it does add a little bit of worry of, ooh, like, dang, like Kyrie wants to play with LeBron. And so if you have been like in the camp of shooting, I still think he comes back to Dallas on a very rich deal. But if you've been in the camp of saying, dude, I don't think Kyrie really wants to play with LeBron, I think that ship sailed. You're not saying that today. That ship hasn't sailed.
No, it hasn't, and he wants to. If they bring him back, by the way, if he's 35% of the cap, it'd be $46.9 million in the first year. So that's the first year of that deal if they give him the max. Now, the amount of years I think matters a little bit more than the amount of money that they would give him to Kyrie Irving. But here we are with Kyrie and potential and Luka on the team, and then now with this LeBron James type story. What does that mean? Also, I just noticed that our yesterday's episode just got automatically tweeted. Old news, guys. Old news. People are going to click on that and be upset. Sorry. This is a leverage play, and it like you said, it could be a leverage play for Kyrie to just play with LeBron, and maybe he doesn't care either way. Like he's been so up in the air, like, hey, I just love basketball. I'm playing basketball, and like, I just want to play with LeBron. I just want to play like at the highest level and all that stuff. Maybe it doesn't matter to him where. Because with these guys, they make so much money. I mean, $47 million basically in 1 year is what he's going to make. He can live wherever he wants, basically. At this point.
Yeah.
And so I think it's if I would put it as like who does this mean more for? Does this mean more that Dallas has some juice, or that
no
LeBron and Kyrie want to team up and it's more a leverage play for the Lakers? I would say it's more a leverage play for the Lakers, right? Which is why Dallas has not been in these conversations or in these rumors often.
Well, let's talk about the Chris Haynes part of this too. Of Chris Haynes, saying that Dallas was preparing an offer
right
back last year, right?
Yeah, the report from Chris Haynes is the Mavericks were preparing to make an offer for LeBron James last season when the Lakers were spiraling, sources say. But the Lakers made a string of trades near the trade deadline that changed the trajectory of their season. So when the Mavericks and Lakers were in reverse order, right? The Lakers were really struggling and they were under 500. They were missing the playoffs, and the Mavericks were above 500 and in the playoffs. And they get Kyrie, and then all of a sudden, okay, can we also get LeBron James too? Can we try that and do some kind of big three? So the Mavericks were looking at this as a possibility before, which, hey, connect the dots. Everybody talks about everything. You could say that about probably a lot of players that the Mavericks looked at to try and bring somebody in. But yeah.
Or the amount of teams that were preparing an offer for LeBron.
Right, because they were spiraling and it seemed like that was the only way out until the Lakers made a couple of good moves and figured out the identity of their team, and then they were back, which is what I think the Mavericks should do this year, is make a couple of moves, find an identity again, and be back to where you were and get back in the playoffs. I think that they can completely do that, and it doesn't have to take another star player to do it.
Yeah, and you look, going back to the trade package, which, in the third segment we'll talk about, like, what if it happened? What does the trio look like? But, you look at the trade package, I don't think anybody could have a grasp on what it would be. Like, if anybody's coming out right now saying, dude, Dallas has plenty, or Dallas just doesn't have enough to get LeBron, you have no clue. We've never seen anything like this. We've never seen a player of his caliber at going to be 39 years old next year. Is he worth two first? Is he worth the 10th overall and unprotected 2027 and then whatever salaries you can throw together? Is he worth, like, I don't, like, never say yes, but we've never seen anything like this. So, like,
never goes well when you're trading a pick for a player when the player is probably going to be retired by the time that pick becomes a rookie, right? Like 2027. Yeah,
I know. So, like, that's the type of thing of, like, I'm not even approaching this saying Dallas wouldn't have enough, because I mean, they very well could. Like, and it would take LeBron saying also, like, yeah, I want to go to Dallas to play with Luka, and I want to play with Kyrie in Dallas. Put me there, and I'll force your hand if not. And so, like, it's such a weird situation. I think it's all leverage. But what if? I'll tell you. Oh my God, that's the worst drop you have on your freaking soundboard. I'm gonna break that thing.
It is not the worst one. This is the worst one.
I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic.
Hey, clip this one. I'd rather have a Bernard James jersey than a LeBron James Mavs jersey.
Coming up, let's talk about what if it actually did happen. Could a LeBron, Kyrie, Luka trio actually work? Would we want it to happen? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy. Talk about fantasy. Fantasy made easy. You can get into Game 3 of the NBA Finals. There's actual basketball being played. You just pick more or less than the projections of the players. For example, Jokic, 28.5 points, more or less. Give me the more on that. Come on. Give me more on that. Yeah, Jimmy Butler, 25.5 points. He's got to have a big game one of these days, right? I'll go more on that. Give me more. Jamal Murray, 25.5. I don't know. Give me less on that. You put those three down, put down $20, and if all those hit, you can win 45. If you put down 100, you can win $225. Hit the power play, that goes to 500. And right now, they have a $1 million daily Superflex promotion. If you get 6 correct picks, you could win $1 million. Again, prizepicks.com/million. If you use the promo code LOCKEDON, you can get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, this is prizepicks.com. All right, Isaac Harris, we're talking about the rumor that LeBron James is being recruited to the Dallas Mavericks by Kyrie Irving. We think it's a leverage play. We don't think that it's realistic. We don't know. Anything could happen with LeBron.
LeBron James.
We know that anything can happen.
All right, I'm gonna come smack that red hair of yours.
Come on.
I'm gonna mess it up.
But I think that this is smokescreen season.
Grady dick looking thing.
This is smokescreen season. You missed my new drop. This is smokescreen season.
Does anyone smell anything smoky?
This is what it is. Just trying to distract from, okay, what is happening with Kyrie and the Mavericks. And then it's just LeBron trying to create some kind of leverage situation with the Lakers. If you're Rob Pelinka, though, aren't you just sitting here going like, I know we've got to get better. Like, what else? How else can you put pressure on me to try and make this team better? We at least did it. And like, look at all the moves we just made with Rui Hachimura and Reeves. I'm like, hey, I get it. We're not going to make this mistake again of like, you know, the Russell Westbrook thing or not putting shooting around you or whatever.
Well, Pelinka's argument is like choosing these pieces they traded for instead of Kyrie. I mean, that's the thing. Like, hey, I want to keep Rui or Austin Reeves and these guys. I'd prefer these guys over signing Kyrie to $47 million. And it's obvious Luka wants, I mean, Luka does too, but LeBron wants to play with Kyrie. Yeah.
And that's what it is. So if it happened, what would be some of the actually, let's do this first. One of the more ironic things about this whole thing is that just a couple of days ago, a week ago, Kyrie did his IG live. Remember we talked about it. I think it was actually last weekend he did, because I remember we did the episode on Monday. His IG live where he talks about, nobody knows what I'm going to do. Don't listen to these TV talking heads and things like that. He said, I'm even getting people at my dinner table, family members and friends talking about, oh, they said you were going to go to LA. They said that they knew what you were going to do. And then he said, when it happens, it's going to happen, but don't take away from the actual basketball being played. And then now, boom, drops this story where Kyrie reached out to LeBron, two of the most talked about figures in NBA history. I don't know, NBA history probably. Like, how ironic is it that he just went and did that rant and then this happened?
This is going to be gross because ESPN is just going to like, I mean, this is just like throwing
chum in the water,
chicken feed out into a chicken coop. I mean, they're going to talk about this twice as much as the finals right now. And this finals is a good series.
We're a daily Dallas Mavericks show. They're going to talk about this more than us.
Yeah. What are you looking at right now?
I'm going to pull up ESPN to see what,
God bless,
just to see what's on the front page of it.
All right, let me say this. If since we're going to entertain the next 7 minutes of doing if this happens, it would have to happen before draft night
or on draft night.
Yeah, or on draft night. Like it's got to happen before the 10th pick because the 10th pick's got to be a part of this. So there you go. If you want some type of timeline, it's not going to happen really afterwards.
No, so
and Dallas has to take their pick, so it had to be like a report pre-agreed to type thing. I'm really curious too to see if Kyrie comes out and says something. Like, since he's already said something on his IG live of like,
right,
all the stuff that you said. If this was like totally false, does Kyrie put out something and it's like, haha, like just listen,
or does he just go off?
Yeah,
and say this is exactly what I was talking
about.
Those
notifications going.
If you have notifications on like his IG story, it was insane today. He posted like 100 IG stories today, or at least like 30 or 40 about all kinds of different stuff. I watched all of them. There was nothing. There was nothing
Anything
that I
to
was.
report?
Just a lot about that our food is bad, which I kind of agree with, that our food is not good, and our food is probably bad for us here.
Have you had cabbage? That sucks.
It sounds like a shot at Germans.
Anyway.
Okay, so I think some other, like, if this did happen, okay, you wouldn't want it to happen, even if it could happen with the pieces and all that.
Nope.
I think I'm with you because the Big Three era is over in the NBA, especially with this new CBA. Like what I said earlier, $133.9 million in salaries just with those three guys. That's it. The rest of your team, you have minimums, and you have, like, it's basically what the Suns were able to put together without, let's say Chris Paul was out. It's basically what the Suns were able to put together with Ayton and Booker and KD, and then the rest of whoever else they could put together. Like, that's the rest of the guys that you could get on your team. And I think that that's just done. You need at least seven to eight competent guys to go win a title. I don't think that, like, the time of the NBA where you can just have three guys and, like, all right, these three guys are going to carry us to this, just can't happen anymore. They have to be competent, good role players because of the way the NBA works with switching, with shooting, with, doubling players, and, Miami's doing this zone thing. Like, you just have to have guys that can take advantage of different matchups at any given time, because you don't know what's going to get thrown at you, and you don't know what, who's going to be hot on what night. Miami is hitting 50% of their threes and they win the game automatically, right? Like, you have to be able to have multiple guys that can shoot like that. You have to have multiple guys that can defend like Miami does, like Denver has. It just is a numbers game. And I think if you have LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka, the percentage of, like, the probability of injury is pretty high with those guys. Like, Kyrie has not been super healthy. Kyrie and Luka both ended the season not healthy, which is something that I don't think we even talk about enough, because that was one of the reasons why they weren't as good. And then LeBron is going to be 39 years old in December. It's just untenable for those three guys to be together. Now, if you put it in a vacuum and say, would you want to have those three guys on a team? Sure, yeah, but it's not in a vacuum. You have to consider the cost that you'd have to give up, and then the amount of salaries that they would have. Like, I just don't think that it's enough. Like, I just don't think that those three guys are enough to win anymore.
Let's look at this roster thing real quick. Let's say Tim, Josh, and Jaden Hardy are in the trade, hands down. So that gives you $24 million. So at that point, let's say the 10th and the future first is in the deal also. If you could get away with putting Bertans in the deal and say, hey, listen, you're getting the 10th, a future first, Hardy and Josh for a 39-year-old LeBron. Tim's in there too. Then you're keeping Reggie and Maxey. Because at that point, you're basically doing, it's either Bertans or Reggie and Max. Let's say Bertans is in that deal.
Yeah.
So you're starting fives: Kyrie, Luka, LeBron, Reggie Bullock, and Maxey. And then off your bench, it's JaVale. And then you have bird rights. You have bird rights. I mean, you could do a sign and trade with Christian Wood, but here's the thing with the sign and trade stuff. When you sign a trade, you're hard capped. So that's going to get some tricky if, like, you try to sign and trade another player and that player comes in to your,
you have you have minimums at that point. So you could bring Dwight back on a minimum, Justin Holiday back on a minimum. Like, you could start Markieff Morris back on a minumum. Like, you could start
probably begging Christian Wood to come back on a cheap deal.
I don't think so. Not even then.
But yeah, it's Markieff, Justin Holiday.
There goes that ship. It has sailed. It is gone down in the harbor.
But I mean, yeah, like, if you're telling me fully healthy, it's LeBron, Luka, Kyrie, Reggie Bullock, and Maxey, and they're fully healthy come playoff time, that's great. But you still need more bodies, and
especially as center.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I'm out on this. So
one thing that would be positive from it is somebody on subtext texted me this. If Luka watched LeBron take care of his body, like, all season,
that's
all
a great
season,
silver lining,
and spend $1 million on his body, one of two things would happen. The subtexter told me this. He said that Luka would be inspired to, like, oh, this is what it takes to take care of myself, and I would have to reach that level. My take was, maybe he looks at it and goes, damn, I'll never be able to do that, and then just gives up.
It's like LeBron's still in here.
Like, dude, still avocado ice cream. Like,
you're still in that cryo chamber. I just want to. Can I just go play with my dogs?
I got to go to Germany to do what now? Like, the LeBron James of what? Like, he just keeps. So, I'm joking about that, but that would be a positive that the Mavericks have needed a veteran that knows how to go to the finals and like can get these guys into shape, and boom, LeBron would be the one, because obviously Luka respects him. And imagine Luka with LeBron and with Kyrie on the team. Like that would just be a positive in Luka's aspect. Like,
you know how bad it would suck though? Like if you make this trade and you give up all the assets and then LeBron comes in, and let's say LeBron gets hurt really bad and you're like, well, duh, he's 39, or he like really takes a step back because at some point Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, is it?
And then you look at Luka and you're like, hey man, like we got your idol, but like I don't really have anything else. So we just signed JJ Barea to minimum.
I would think Luka would be insane enough to be like, that's enough. We got Kyrie, we got LeBron. I don't care who else is around me. Like, I'm gonna do the Jimmy Butler with the third stringers in the practice, and like I'm gonna take everybody on with just these guys. We got LeBron, we got Kyrie. I'm good to go. Like I think he tends to think the mindset of that like we can get it done no matter what, no matter who's on the court with me, we can get it done, right? Like I think he thinks that way more than we just don't have enough. Like, I think we put that thought into his head more often than not.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. So let us know in the comment section. What do you think about?
I'm sure they will.
Oh my gosh. Let me know.
I can't even like get on Twitter today. They're like, this guy doesn't want LeBron in Dallas. Yeah, I don't. So,
hey, I said that I don't think they should do it either. So come at me too.
Yeah. Go at Mr. Grady Dick lookalike.
Some people started commenting Grady Nick like over and over again.
Oh, why did I think of this? Grady Nick.
By the way, he was in the Mavs facility recently.
Whoa.
Did you see that? His TikTok was him like doing like a dance in the Mavs locker room.
Yeah, I'm like, you're such a Gen Z kid. Doing his TikTok dances.
Can I tell you a secret? It was actually me. It wasn't him.
Ooh.
That would be hilarious if I did like an AI like face replace type thing, and it was there you go. All right, guys.
Then you go to take a shot and you're like, that's not Grady Dick's shot.
That dude is somehow shorter and doesn't make any sense. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Subscribe to our subtext. Tomorrow we'll be back, probably with a draft pro, probably with another LeBron episode. Who knows at this point? Like we can't plan ahead anymore. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.